Hey, welcome to another edition of Beyond Sight. Your host, Hasan Clay. And as usual, I got a very good show for you today. I got some great information that I really believe you need to tap into. And so, by all means, please get ready to share this information. Let's have some conversation about this information. And let's see where we might have actually found ourselves involved in this information or some of the things that this information is talking about. So, when I say to you, I've been talking about high conflict personality traits and people exhibit them and what they're doing a lot with it. I really want you to know that, and I want you to remember this part. If a person with high conflict personality traits, if they can get you emotional, they get you predictable. All right. And that's the objective of a person with high conflict personality traits is to get you off of your game and to get control of you. Right. If they can move you here, they can puppeteer you, like they got you dancing around here and jiggling your head around here and moving over here and moving over there and doing all type of silly stuff, then they're winning. And you're frustrated and you don't even know why you're frustrated. And you're going to say, like most of you, I'm not going to get caught now again like that and get wound up right back again because you don't have the tools to get out of that. But have no fear. Your brother Hasan is here, right? To let you know how to get up out of this piece right here. So I got three things I want you to really look at. And the first one is emotions clouds judgment. All right. So what that mean? When they got you all tossed up and all hyper and in your feelings and talking to you sideways and trying to pull you out of here and doing this and you getting angry or you done got overheated and you done got you sad and they get you, or sometimes they can get you extremely happy. Believe that, because that's emotion too, right? If they can get you tilted in the emotion category, then what that do is they take you off your game. They cloud your judgment on what's really taking place, on how to respond to them, right? And we'll talk about this next word, reaction, in a sense, in the second one. But if you are then looking at this and you just totally reacting, you're not responding because you're not thinking clearly, right? And who can really think clearly when they're all emotional, tied up, and you're crying or you're hiding, you're angry, and your voice is raised and your veins is popping out your head and out your neck and all that. And how many of us really seen stuff like that before? Right? If you're turning red or your eyes are red or you're looking like you just getting bite a bed of nails, right? Like you just rip off the head of a rattlesnake, you're so hot. Well, that's where they want you to be. Because if you're there, then they got you predictable. How many times somebody said, well, I know you, I know what's happening. And they can push your buttons, they push that button, you do this, they push that button, you do that. And they just keep you off kilter. And what is the proper thing? We say judgment. We ain't saying judging people. You can't discern, or inform decisions properly when you're mad, when you're heated. You can't. And some people say, well, I can do it. No, you can't. You can't do it. And what they do is they put you in that old rabbit hole and they throwing this dirt back in your face. They leading you all over the place and you falling in all around them and going all over the place with them. And sometimes somebody who's very diabolical with this, because people who have high conflict personality traits, they're actually on a couple of different situations. Some of them have some narcissistic traits. Some of them have some antisocial traits, some borderline personality disorder traits, and a various different plethora of other disorders. They have the traits of it. We're not going to call them these things. We're not saying that they are this particular disorder, but they have the traits of disorder, right? Especially one who has narcissistic personality traits, right? They have these traits. They're really going to take you through the ringer, right? And a lot of times people are quick to call someone, narcissistic or whatever. And you're partly right. They have some narcissistic traits, but they may not be classified as a narcissist, right? But if you are then dealing with somebody who exhibits those traits and you're trying to deal with them in this realm and they get you emotional, oh wow, yeah, they already figured you out, and they're trying to push you here, push you there. And yeah, you become predictable. They know if you say that, they say this particular thing right here, or anything along those lines, go blow your top, right? You're gonna just lose it. And okay, they got you, because now what they wind up doing, if you're bringing them an issue, what's going to wind up happening is that they're no longer dealing with the issue. They're dealing with their made up issue at this point. You, right? They're dealing with whatever it is oh my God, you're something's, what's wrong with you? And you got you looking all crazy out here in these streets, and they're telling their friends, and they, that person, he's like this, he's crazy, he does this, he does that, and she does this, she does that. And it's not really you, but they're just pushing your buttons. They're provoking you. They're pushing your buttons. And you know what? You foolish enough to go along with it, right? But you won't be foolish enough after this episode, right? Because you're getting the information on how to do something a little different with them. And you probably bought the book by now, Taming the Storm, Understanding and Overcoming High Conflict Personalities for a Peaceful Life. I hope you bought the book, man. Hopefully by the end of this, you're gonna purchase the book from me at my website at hasanclay.net or on Amazon, and you can look it up by the same name. Hopefully you got this book and you got some information that's going to help you learn how to not get pulled in this particular way, as far as having cloudy judgment, not being able to be focused, have laser focus on what it is that you need to be doing, and our need to make sure that you're you're staying on topic, right? That you're working not from a position. And I'm not going to sit there and say that, hopefully you're not raising your voice. I know me, man. Oh gosh, man. I know I've done a lot of this, which I'm talking to you, everyone out here who's listening to me and who's viewing this video. I've been in these same spaces before. I've been one who blow my top of it, and I had people, oh my God, he's so boisterous, or he's so whatever, and that's not me. And one thing I really couldn't stand is being judged or being misunderstood or anything in nature there. And somebody with high conflict personality traits, they're going to put this out in the street because they know that you don't like it. And so at that point, they're going to keep jabbing at you with it, right? And I used to kind of do some foolish things, and I follow right along behind it and get right in there behind it, and thinking I'm trying to clear myself up and trying to express myself or defend myself, because I used to feel like ain't nobody else going to defend me. I had to defend me, right? Instead of letting the truth defend me. I'm over explaining, I'm reacting, I'm making, just continuously with excuses and reacting and explaining and defending, and it's just over and over. The cycle keeps going over and over and over and over again. One thing I had to do is just stop and bring it down a notch, and not even participate in the conversation once it started. Oh, I see you're not really listening to me. Let me just I said what I had to say at this point. Let me just keep it moving and keep it pushing, right? Because that's what they really want you to do. Either they want you to leave it alone, or they want you to engage in this conversation more deeply the way they want you to engage in the conversation. I have no problem. I don't want to engage with them, but I don't have a problem with leaving it alone after I said what I had to say in that. And I'm still on topic. And they may come with, well, you did this, or when you did this, and when you did that. Okay, I may have done all that. I'm not talking about all that right now. I'm talking about this right here. Well, you know what? I tell you what, I said what I had to say at this point. Maybe I have to make some other decisions right now. And I don't want to sound like I'm threatening you or I'm putting you up under no type of gun, but maybe it might be a me issue. Maybe I might need to rethink what's going on with me in this situation. And maybe I need to pull back a little bit. Maybe you're right. It might be a me issue at this point. Right. And so this not saying that, I'm sorry for this, or this and that. Yeah, it's on me. It ain't you. But I didn't say any of that. I say at this time, not because you don't want to engage in a situation in which I'm trying to bring you a concern, or bring you a concern or issue that I'm having at this point in our interaction. Maybe I might need to rethink who I'm talking to and what I'm dealing with. And sometimes, the hard thing or the easy thing to do is the hard thing to do. Meaning, maybe I might need to just rethink this relationship that I'm having right now. Right. Maybe maybe we may not need to be as close as we've been. Maybe I might need to kind of deal with you with a long handle spoon. So whatever you do at this point, don't affect me. Right. Maybe I might need to kind of put some parameters and boundaries within this relationship. So therefore, I'm not affected by what it is that you got going on. Right. That's okay too. Because you will have to be able to do that. But you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to do that. Because somebody's not always, and I'm not sitting there saying you got to be extra cold to somebody and be all aloof with someone and all this other type of stuff here. No, I'm saying still be you, but just put parameters within this relationship. You can still be you. You can still just move like as you move, but know that you just can't move that way with them. And if it cost you the relationship wasn't happening anyway because it wasn't on a mutual terms. It was on their terms because they couldn't even listen to you about a concern that you were having with them. And I want you to know that it's okay. It's going to be good because if this relationship happens to no longer be the relationship that you was having and you did the right things, know that anything that comes up behind you, man, God will bless you from places that you can never imagine. That he's going to replace that with something better. You got to believe that. A lot of times we don't move with that in mind, that if I take a step back, then I possibly can take 2 steps forward. Sometimes we just scared to lose ground. I know I've been in a position of being scared to lose ground. I know even when I lost my sight, I was trying to hold on to everything that was around me because I was just scared of losing something else. But maybe I might have needed to let some other things go in order to gain the ground that I actually needed to gain. And so I can talk to you from a place of knowing this is a theory that I'm coming up with here, right? So, number 2, reactivity is fuel, right? So what are we saying? Reactivity is fuel. The more you are reactive, the more fuel that they have. This is like, like if you are just in high octane and your energy is high with being mad and being, you know, it's fuel for whatever narrative that they're trying to put out there to make you look like you done lost your damn mind. Like that something is really wrong with you. Now, how many times, just think for you, it's rhetorical. Just think about this. I want y'all to think about this. How many of us have been in a position to where that has happened to us? Like, man, you know, you were made to look or sound like something was wrong with you because of the way you act, right? And again, I can tell you from a personal, I give you me and a guy was playing one-on-one, right, basketball when I was younger, right? Because some of the stuff it really kind of I can be reflect on from when I was younger, right? Me and a guy playing one-on-one, right? Kid was good. I'm good, but the kid was good, right? But he was lazy, right? And so we playing, and but the guy was good. We would go back and forth game to game. I think at that point, my stamina, I was pretty good shape. Stamina was pretty good, pretty high. This guy was lazy. He don't want to run laps. The guy was a solid basketball game. The guy had a solid basketball game, right? Just athletically, just totally inclined, but lazy as hell, right? So I'm out there, man. Come on, man. Come on. I'm trying to push him, but I'm yelling at him, cursing at him. I'm going, man, quit being so effing lazy. You get it together, man. Come on, man. It's like 2-2, games. We've been playing like 5 games. I know he's exhausted, and I'm still ready. You know what I mean? I'm still pumped with it. This guy like just totally just gassed out, right? But I'm trying to make it come on, right? And the coach was there, some other people there. The coach was there. Coach getting at me, right? Man, Clay, why you going off like that? Clay, what's wrong with you, Clay? Come off the court. He like, I mean, what do you mean? I ain't did nothing. I'm trying to make this dude. I'm trying to get this guy right, and he's fueling it too. He's acting all victimish going on, right? If that's such a word, what I mean? He's acting like a victim. I'm like, then I'm getting that. So, man, quit acting like a punk. What's wrong with you, right? But here it is, is it higher conflict personality traits? He's feeding into it, but I'm feeding into it even more because now I look like the problem. When this guy, after, talking to coach later on, I'm sitting talking, coach got me in his office. We sitting there talking, and I'm telling him what was going on and what was happening. And that, and he said, yeah, he's even agreeing with me that the kid was lazy, right? And so it was like, but what he told me, he said, man, you the one look like the problem, though, because of what you were doing. Right. And so how many of us been in relationships where it sit there and this person, you're right, what right you're saying, this person is saying something real crazy, or they did something crazy, or they did something wrong, and you try to check them, but you over the top with it. You spouting off, trying to straighten it or whatever, and they say some stupid stuff, and you go all in and go all off, and then it's like, oh my God, I'm just so, man, how many of us have fell into, especially men, and women, you get caught up like this too, especially with you men. How many times, look like that lost your mind, and you look like, you're trying to henpeck someone, trying to keep somebody closed in, that you abusive to them, abusive towards this woman, or something going on, just because the way you handled a situation. Had you kept your cool, had you been able to make sure that you stay within the right frame of mind, then they wouldn't have the fuel to be able to put you in that and make you look that way. But you so reactive, right? Everything about you, you're not responding to situations. You're reacting to them. That's what I was saying a little earlier. We talked about this number 2. In no way is a reaction like a response. And what does that mean? If I'm trying to respond to you in a way, it's going to be methodical, it's going to be logical, it's going to be with some type of understanding and hikmah. And now I'm not sitting there trying to tell you to convince anybody, because that's still a part of the reactivity as well. I'm saying you're trying to convince this person, you're trying to go here, and you're going there, and you bring this analogy and bring this metaphor, and you're doing this and you're doing that, and you just sound like a broken record, right? You sound like you're just trying to be, you're abusive in how you're handling people, because you keep coming at them, when what you're trying to do is get them to realize something. But the way you're doing it, your methodology, how you're doing it is wrong. And so a person sit there and try to say, you're talking to your wife. How many of us, especially men, talking to our wives, then next thing you know, we just blurt out some curse words. Man, F it. If that's what you want, then you know what, F that. You do this and do that. Or how many women have said the same thing, F you, How many times have you heard that? Right? Because they just done blew their top. Because now at this point, they're reactive to what it is going on. And it's fueling the situation. Oh my God, I did women, some women, they're clutching their pearls, right? And I'm sitting there saying, like, oh man, dang, yeah, man, you say that, because you done got mad when you really should be handling the situation from a cool head. Just say, you know what, time out for a minute. Let me get a break from this. Because that's what really needs to take place. You need to take a pause. You need to get a time out. And a lot of times we don't want to take a time out. We act like, we on the clock. We down by 1. It's how many minutes on the clock? You need a field goal. You know what I mean? You got all 3 of your timeouts, but you let the clock run out because you're scared to take a timeout, and you lose the game. You're down by 1. You only got to get to the 40-yard line, maybe a little closer than that. Maybe you got to get to the 35-yard line, and you let the clock run out because you don't know how to manage the clock, because you don't know how to call the timeout, right? And that's what's happening to a lot of us. You're only down by 1. You only need a field goal. You really got time, but you got poor time management. You got poor clock management. Getting all frustrated, getting all flustered. You're doing this, you're doing that, you're acting crazy, you're talking, and they say, you lose the game by 1. Clock run out on you. Now you're trying to rush. You're spiking the ball when you shouldn't have, because you're trying to stop the clock. And the only thing you got to do is call a timeout. It's crazy, but y'all know what I'm talking about. That's what it looks like when you're reacting and you're not managing yourself well. You're giving them fuel because you're not managing yourself well. Your judgment is clouded because you're not managing your emotions well. And last but not least, calmness is a boundary. When you set up your calm, you set up parameters, right? Anything outside of this is out of bounds. You got 100 yards to go. Maybe it's from end zone, from 1 yard line to 1 yard line, from end zone to end zone is 100 yards to go. And all this sideline is boundaries. The field is where the calm is. But you keep running out of bounds. You keep trying to get the ball thrown to you and you out of bounds. And this is what happens when you are not exercising your emotions well. Because that's what it looks like somebody's trying to do. Throw you the ball outside of bounds. You over there in the stand, you trying to catch the ball in the stands. It don't make no sense. The game is not in the stands. The game is on the field, but you can't stay on the field. You can't go from basket to basket with it. You got to keep from got to try to shoot the ball out of bounds. Steph Curry can shoot the ball from half court and it count, but let him get a step out of bounds with the ball and he shot it and he gets no buckets. Right? But that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to shoot the ball from out of bounds. And I'm saying in between the lines is what Calm said. Because the rules are right there on the field. The rules to this engagement is right here. I'm not going to get pulled into that rabbit hole today. I'm not going to explode. I'm going to say what I'm saying. I'm going to put my situation out there. Then I'm not going to, and if I am getting a little heated, what I'm not going to do is not going to get heated in front of you. I had a whole session today with a client, and obviously do dead wrong. I can't get up, be quiet so I can get at him because she in the way. I had to tell her literally, hey, look, just go to the bathroom, splash some water on your face, and kind of get you great. I needed to get her away from this because at that point she couldn't stay calm. And by all means, he was lighting her up with the gas. All right, you're talking about gas, like he was lighting her up with the gas. All right, and she know it. But because she's so frustrated, she's so, and of course, when you have buy-in with a situation, you're gonna, when you got investment, you're gonna go a little off or go a little ham or whatever you want to call it. You want to go in, but I'm saying you have to manage yourself in that because you got to stay within the lanes. You can't do it. I'm sorry. I can't say anything more than that. You can't do it. But you got to know what not to do. And when you feel yourself, you know yourself better than even that person knows. But you act like you don't. You know yourself better than they know you. But you act like you don't. You have given them all the keys to you. And you act like you don't even have a key. They got your keys. They just turning your locks, turning you upside, locking your door. You can't even get in your own spot. It makes no sense. It really makes no sense. And I'm saying to you, listener here, we have to do something different. We have to do something different. Because if we don't, then what happens is we're going to be forever having like we got a ring in our nose. And somebody is going to keep pulling us all over the place. And just, okay, I'm going to go you over here. I'm going to get you over here. Or I'm going it makes no sense. But you're giving them this. That's you. That's a you issue at that point. That's not a them issue. That's a you issue. We have to learn how to do something a tad differently. So, one, we're going to make sure that we're not going to allow emotions to cloud our judgment. We're going to keep ourselves focused. We're going to stay on point. We're going to stay on target. We're going to make sure that we stay right there, whatever the issue might be. We're not going to get blown out of proportion with it. Even when we're upset about a situation, then take a moment, take a breather, pause, be able to do what you need to do to kind of back away from things so you can come back and tackle this thing rationally. Even though you're a little upset. I'm not saying people don't have a right to be upset. I'm saying you have a greater right to manage your emotions. That's what I'm saying. Being upset is totally natural, but managing that is what's going to help you in that, because at that point you want to make sure that your mind is crisp and is clear about where it is that you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. Being reactive is fuel. Just being reactive to everything and just reacting to what, if they blow this way, you're reacting. If they go this way, you're reacting. That's fuel. right? That is fuel for whatever it is that they trying to, their narrative in which they trying to portray you with. It's fuel, right? So what we want to do is we want to take away the reactivity situation, and we want to be responsive. And how do we become responsive? We have to maintain composure. We have to listen. We have to know when it's not going well, it's not going right, and that they're not really trying to give you what it is that they're looking to give you. Then you have to learn how to detach from it. You have to know when to detach. Because here's what's happening, if you don't, then what happened? Even though, and then here's the other thing, they get you with this, and this is one thing I want y'all to know. They get you, they have you all worked up and everything. Then next thing you know, they hit you with, oh baby, I'm sorry, I know you're right. I shouldn't have done that. And they done took you all that, and they know they were dead wrong in the first place. They knew they dead ass wrong in the first place. But then they come with these little apologies, and then they got you all flustered and all frustrated and all this and all that, and you trying to work you up and then they trying to love bomb you at this point. But that's what's getting ready to happen too. Oh yeah, baby, I'm sorry, I love you, and all this old type of foolishness there. And if you're going for it, you're gonna go for it. Well, you probably gonna go for it. Hopefully, you're gonna go for it after the day, we have this conversation, right? But you're going for it. Because I'm telling you, I don't know how many of my clients come through that I see this. I see it on a weekly basis. And I sit there and I try to tell them, don't go for it. It's coming. And boom, you slide right up under it. And bam, you're going right for it. The next thing you know, it's going to happen all over again. They're not going to change. They got you. I've had clients even say, man, I don't know what you're telling her that for, man. She ain't going to do it. It's going in one ear and out the other, because I'm coming right back and do this and this and this and that. She ain't going to do it. She ain't listening. And you know what? It never fails. Dead right. Just be responding for them. Just responding to stuff and just be told it. And then they justify why they responded that way. But let me know that you suffer from high conflict personality traits as well. Because then you justifying why you responding that way. You trying to defend why you responding this way. I just want him to know. I just want him to understand. I just want him to hear. I just want my voice heard. Okay. All right. Have your voice got heard? Tell me how that worked out for you. And last but not least, calm is your boundary. The more you could level set a situation, the more you kind of the more you get yourself in position, but the more you get yourself in position to maintain a calmness, the more you stay in the game, and the more that they can't do anything to you. Because if they're not right and you stay calm, then you can back up on it. You can rethink. Well, let me think of this. Let me process what's going on right now, and let me think this. You actually become a scary person, believe it or not, because now they don't know what you're getting ready to do, and they may even tap back. I heard you say you need to process what you thought about anything. Oh, okay, you ain't got to be sarcastic, because sarcasm isn't. If I can just get people to stop doing that, this whole sarcasm thing, thinking sarcasm is wit and think sarcasm is cool, is not. It's crazy. Sarcasm is crazy. Whoever told y'all that y'all look nice and y'all smart and you intelligent because you sarcastic, somebody told you a lie. All right? It's not. It's nothing good about sarcasm. As a matter of fact, it might sell well on reality TV and probably in some of these internet situations or some of these social media situations. But in real life, that stuff sucks. It has no place. It has no place there. But at least they're making money off of you with that. At least you doing it for free and getting nowhere with it. Ruining relationships. That's what you're doing. Ruin relationships. And a lot of times you're doing it because a lot of times people are doing it because they don't know how to do anything differently, unfortunately. So maybe you might need to pick up a book or pick up something, get in a class or do something else so you can learn how to do something different, have some better etiquettes about yourself, because sarcasm is not a good etiquette. It's not proper etiquette, right? So if we maintain calmness, maintain our boundaries, we're going to excel. And so then you won't be so predictable. And here's the other thing that happens. When you're not this predictable, when you're managing your and you're not predictable, they're going to wind up trying to get away from you. Now they're going to do something to get away from you and to try to hurt you in the process, because that's just naturally who they are, right? And this is what I'm saying. You have to kind of make sure that you kind of keep yourself, safe as you possibly can. But if they're going to find a way to get away from you because you are going to be bad for their business, you really are going to be bad for business. And you need to be bad for business. And because as more people like this start tapping into this and start doing this, then those people who have that have no avenues. And then they have to find each other. Right now they get to feed on, I'm almost like vampires. They get to feed on regular people, get to suck the blood out of regular people. But then if you start cutting them off, then what they have to do is start gravitate like that. They say like that garbage that's found, all that plastic, they found itself out there in the middle of the ocean. Somehow or another, they done all grouped up together, stuff about the size of the state of New Jersey, just floating around the ocean out there, right? And ain't no telling where all that garbage came from. But it grouped up with itself. That's what's going to happen to people who have high conflict personality traits. They're going to start having a group together because you have gotten healthy to the point to where you're leaving them alone. And that's what time it is. So, hey, I hope y'all got some benefit on it. And share some of this information. Please share this information and tell me what your thoughts might be in this conversation, and how you've been able to maybe even saw yourself with this high conflict personality traits, or dealt with someone who had those high conflict personality traits. Please don't put no names and nothing. You know what I mean? Because we're not here to put people on blast, right? That's not what we're doing here. That's still more high conflict personality traits. Just putting people on blast and saying people's name and all this old type of stuff here. That's just ghetto, right? I mean, that ain't what time. That's not what time we're on, right? So with that, of course, always the book, Taming the Storm, Understanding and Overcoming High Conflict Personality for a Peaceful Life, is, of course, for sales on my website. The Mom Effect, it's for sale on Amazon. The Silence of Men and How to Break It, that's also for sale as well. And some good stuff. We talk about high conflict personality coding and de-escalating, right? Learn how to de-escalate situations. This is what I do, and this is what time it is. So you can look it up. You can get that book. Please purchase the book. Of course, connect with me on all the social media platforms with the Hasan Clay Experience, and Facebook and LinkedIn on the Hasan Clay, and also here on YouTube. Please subscribe. Hey, I'm kind of coming up. My subscriptions are coming up a little bit more. Please continue to help me with that. Please tell a friend. Please tell a friend. Please tell a friend. Share this information. Share the YouTube video. And of course, make connections with me. Also, July 18th, here in Atlanta. We're going to be in Atlanta. We're having the marriage boot camp. Myself, Imam Shadid Muhammad, Imam Akil Ingram, Sister Michelle Renee Davis, and Dr. Nisa Muhammad. We're going to be here in Atlanta. You can go to, I think I'll have some stuff put up on my website and on my pages, on my social media pages. And you can also go to, I think that's Rhoda Islamic Center Delaware on their website. And so you can definitely tap into that. We'd like to see you there. We're bringing everybody here. Normally we've been up on the East Coast. Now we're bringing people down here, down south, in the middle of the summer. You know, I want y'all to know, I'll tell you what's going to be significant about that day, right? For me, July 18th. You know what I mean? So I'll tell you as we get closer, right? But that's a very significant day for me. You know, I don't want to put myself out there. Somebody put me up under the Islamic police or whatever. You know, so they be having me all out there crazy. But yeah, that is a very important day for me. And so we're going to be there. We got vending going to be there. Of course, the speakers are going to be there. And I think the following day, if you're registering and trying to get it, we're going out there, taking it to Six Flags, going to have some fun out there at Six Flags on that Sunday, right? So, you know, please, and it's in the middle of the summer. We in Georgia, right? It's going to be in the middle of summer, so we got plenty of sun for you. It's all right. You can be all right. We got plenty of shade for you too. All right. Drink your little lemonade, doing all that good things, right? And so some iced tea. I don't know if y'all understand that southern lemonade and iced tea, but we got plenty of it for you. So check us out. By all means, please check us out. And I'm looking forward to it. Of course, every Monday at 7 p.m. Beyond Sight is broadcast on social media network platforms, Facebook, and importantly, YouTube. So please check me out. Set your notifications for it so you see it. And with that, y'all have a great week and a fabulous weekend. Y'all stay safe. I'm going to see you again next Monday here at the Beyond Sight podcast.